Look, I can't help but think that now might be a good time for a little fire and ice. Please
Oh,
do not
there is
know.
never a good time for fire and ice.
What happens when you mix fire and ice?
Warm water, baby.
It's bubbling, baby.
Warm water! Warm water!
It is time for a little fire and ice. I got to figure out if that was us or if that was the internet here that happened to do that. That just kind of ended up on us abruptly. Mike Tipton, Brandon the Iceman Cohen. We are hanging out here with our guy Deion Hankins from the Chicago Bears. How cool does it sound, Deion? Whenever people say that with the Chicago Bears, Deion Hankins.
It's surreal, but it sounds amazing just to know that I'm here, and I'm kind of just living in it.
And I tell you what, I gotta love what you're wearing, the Bears attire. I mean, I've been a Bears fan since I was a kid. Like I was explaining to you, lived in Chicago, whole family lives there. It's incredible because I've been covering you since you were, in high school.
High school, yeah.
We've been friends for years, and now, you're with one of my beloved childhood teams. And boy, you were telling me the story right now, how it's almost. And by the way, I wore this jersey in your honor, Urlacher 2003 authentic Pro Bowl jersey. It's got the Chicago Bears C, the iconic C on the shoulder here. In your honor, out of the mouth balls. But you're telling me the story before the show about how this all transpired. It's really quite a cool story.
Yeah, it really is. It just shows how God is kind of in the mix of everything, because I was watching a draft and I realized, I didn't get picked up, but I was okay with what happened. I just wanted to use my platform. If it was football, I was cool. If it wasn't football, I was cool. So I was kind of in that space. So my agent, he was like, hey, I'm talking to a few teams, hold tight. Try to get you into some rookie mini camps and stuff. And then so a few moments later, the Bears called me and they offered me a rookie mini camp invite. And I was like, okay, I'm excited for the opportunity. My family was happy. We're kind of celebrating and stuff. So on the way back to Austin, I had a layover in Vegas. And the morning of my layover, my agent called me again. He's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just chilling. And he was like, hey, the Bears GM, watch your film. And they love you. They want to sign you. They have one more roster spot available. They want to give it to you and stuff. And it's just he's like, the Bears also asked him if I had any other mini camp set up and to kind of cancel them because they wanted to sign me. And they said that if I went to any other rookie mini camp that I would leave with the contract. And I'm like, what? And it's just crazy how it all came to pass because my agent told me that in all his 13, 14 years of being an agent, that stuff like that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Where the top guy is going to watch a tryout player's film. So, yeah.
So how cool is that for you to know that you made that much of an impact, right? Because most of the time you're going to go in, you're going to get your rookie camp, you got to fight for your roster spot. You go, they just see a little bit of your film, especially the stuff you did over here at UTEP. Let's be honest about that. And then what you did over at Texas Southern as well, and that gets you over the hump to get you that last roster spot. What's that do for your confidence knowing this was something that was able to help me out? What I did made that much of an impression.
Man, it's just awesome because for a while I'm just I'm putting in the work. I'm doing everything I need to do, but I just feel like I was sowing and not reaping anything. So I just kind of just stayed down and worked. And when this opportunity kind of just presented itself, I'm just like, oh man, I just kind of felt seen. I felt seen. And for the coach, for me to land in this position where I have a great coaching staff. I have Coach EB. He was offensive coordinator for the Chiefs when they won their Super Bowls. He was Adrian Peterson's first coach coming into the league. He was all-time leading rusher at Colorado. He played 9 years in the league. Man, this guy has a great resume. So to come in the building and see all those guys is just awesome, especially Coach EB kind of just whenever he gives me props on stuff and coaches me up, I just soak it all in. So, yeah.
And it's incredible, like you said, the GM watching your game film and saying, hey, we want this young man here to be part of our organization and to be part really of not only one of the more storied franchises in the history of the league, but a team that is truly up and coming for this coming year.
It really is. And we have Coach Ben Johnson. He was a Detroit Lions OC. So to have him as a head coach, he's fired up. All the coaches there are fired up. They have the same goal to win. We have the right players and stuff. Everybody's just kind of, in the building all the time trying to build off each other. So it's just awesome to witness.
And if you've been paying attention to Ben Johnson's style of offense, that means this dude's going to get a lot of work because that's a run-first type team.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it all worked out together. You don't really know your plans. I mean, you may plan some stuff, but ultimately it all works out the way God wants it to work out, I'm a big believer in that. And sometimes I do see some similarities between UTEP and the Bears. They started calling me Hank the Tank in the weight
There
room.
you go.
I called you Hank the Tank.
mhm.
I was like, Hank the Tank, my
Yeah.
boy. That was great. I loved it.
So,
I mean, so I was watching a podcast the other day, and they were mentioning how obviously the Chicago Bears want to build that run game, and of course DeAndre Swift is their main guy right now. But then they were mentioning how a lot of people have even compared you to Roshan Johnson with your running style. How does it feel for you to be, talked about in the city of Chicago and compared to a running back like that, and know that you have that talent to be able to play at the next level, which is tremendous. And we always knew that you had it here, obviously.
so, man, it's just awesome to realize because, I'm sitting at my locker and across from me is DeAndre Swift, who I've looked up to since I was younger, and to be able to compete with them and also Roshan Johnson, I see how hard they work and how good of a work ethic they have. I try to kind of just replicate that, but to be in this position where I can have this opportunity to, kind of just show myself, show my running style, and to be compared to them is awesome. So yeah.
So, what would you describe for people who, because this is a show it's El Paso based, but we do have a lot of different people that kind of tune in later times and look from all around the country. What would you describe your running style as?
My running style.
He smiles. He's like big and violent.
Get out of my way. Move.
Move. Come on, make way. No, I would say that. No, but just a powerful runner, one cut. I feel like I'm smart. I kind of use that to my advantage whenever I'm running. So if I kind of just get a pre-snap read, I kind of know how the play is going to transpire a little bit most of the time. I feel like I'm a one-cut guy, physical. That's pretty much it.
And then, what would you say has been the biggest difference going from UTEP to Texas Southern to now practicing against NFL-style defenses? What's been the biggest surprise for you?
I would say the D-line. The D-line is crazy difference. Everybody's there's some guys are 6'7", cut, built up. I'm like, dang. So I'm looking at that and I'm just like, oh, snap. But I would say that, and also just everybody's obviously more disciplined. Everybody's faster, quicker. It's the details. They always stress the details, where you want to be, the hashes, just everything. So, yeah.
Chicago is one of the greatest sports cities in the world, not just the U.S., the world. And you've got a firsthand experience of not only the food, which I've told your mom some of the good noshes to go to, because that's my second home, but you also got to visit Wrigley Field, U.S. Cellular Field. I got a picture of Deion on the field, the Pope's team. He's visiting, U.S. Cellular. I think it's some other goofy name now. And there's Deion hiding at Wrigley Field, that right there behind his teammates. I got all these pictures from online. Now, here you are at historic Wrigley Field with the Bears. How does that feel to be there pregame and, of course, at I call it Comiskey Park,
Man, it's just crazy. It's all surreal, especially to be there with, the draft picks and just everybody. And, we go in and they give us, this gear. They give us, the jerseys and stuff. Be able to experience that, that's a professional team now. It's not like you're going to go throw the first pitch for a college team or a high school team. You're in the actual Cubs game, you're in the actual Sox game, in the center field. And it's just crazy to experience and to witness, especially coming from El Paso. I'm thinking, what's the closest pro team around here?
I was 6 hours away in Phoenix.
Yeah, so it's definitely different and awesome to be a part of.
Yeah, it's quite a city.
So I don't think there's a big difference between El Paso and Chicago. They're basically the same city. Yeah. What's the biggest difference between El Paso and Chicago?
Between El Paso and Chicago, okay, the weather, the heat. I was realizing the heat. I'm 80 degrees here feels like 100 degrees over there.
The humidity.
Yeah,
the humidity is terrible. Yeah.
I'm oh snap. So that obviously it's a lot more greener and stuff. But I feel like the similarities is they're both kind of melting pot things, but the community I feel like is pretty close between the both of them. The food is great. I'm always talking about the tacos in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
I'm man, I'm up north. I didn't think the Chicago tacos would be as good as the ones down here.
Now just a couple things. Number one, it's Chicago. And number two, it's pop.
It's
You
pop.
don't ask for a Coke Zero. You ask for
don't
a pop.
listen to him. Be you. Don't listen to
the
that
thing
guy.
is, if you're gonna be a bear, you gotta talk
Yeah.
the Bears.
How you
It's
say
the
it?
Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
How
You
you
know
say
what I
it?
mean? Chicago, and Minnesota,
In
in
Minnesota.
Wisconsin. That's how they talk up there.
Wisconsin.
We have a-
Don't listen to that guy. Just the way you talk is the way you talk.
Yeah.
You're gonna get him beat up in a locker room
No, I'm not
talking
kidding.
like you.
I know Chicago. I mean, it's that they have their ways of talking.
Yeah,
up
I'll
there.
take your advice. I'm gonna start
You think the
practicing.
tank's
on
gonna
that.
listen to me?
Yeah, some pop. I got some pop.
Some pop. Give me some pop. Ask for a pop, and they're gonna love you over there.
Yeah,
You're
some
gonna
pop.
say you're a Chicagoan now.
Yeah.
Then he's gonna come back to El Paso and be like, "I want a pop." No.
Yeah, I'm gonna be all confused. I'm gonna go back to it. Yeah, so but it's been awesome. I love the city out there. There's the architecture, we're talking about the food. The food is great.
Oh, gosh.
They have Chinatown, they have Greek Town. Like it's just a lot of stuff.
Have you tried deep dish pizza yet?
I haven't.
Okay, well, you haven't lived in.
Yeah.
We're gonna be there in the same
Overrated.
time. It's not overrated.
Overrated.
Don't listen
Overrated.
to him. He's full of crap.
100%.
We're gonna be there at the same time. You start training camp around the 19th of July. I'm gonna be there till the 25th. We gotta get some Chicago style pizza. You'll be in
Yeah.
Lake Forest. I'll be 20 minutes away from you in
Oh,
Skokie.
20 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's
where my
awesome.
uncle lives in Skokie.
Oh, perfect.
About 25
Perfect.
minutes away from
Yeah.
Lake Forest.
And Deion knows how this works. You're gonna have to drive to him. He's not gonna drive to you. So
I've been taking the train, so if the train goes past you,
I can come pick you up.
Okay.
I have a car. I have my uncle's car.
Yeah.
We'll go get a good grease. Don't worry.
I got my uncle's car.
yeah, Uncle
No,
Pat,
I mean, he lends it to me. I stay with my uncle, so
Yeah.
it's
getting
a-
around there is
it's
yeah.
interesting, right?
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think what I need to do is like just find a way that we can have like a video crew follow you around in Chicago with
Yeah.
Brandon Cohn,
Yeah.
because I think that'll be fun to
We could
watch.
do like a tour,
Yeah.
that's why I have my camera. I've been vlogging actually and stuff,
Yeah,
and so yeah, I'll probably just bring that around. So if I run into you, we could,
absolutely. We'll have a good time. It's a good town, man. Sweet home Chicago.
yeah.
So I can't believe it's tacos are going to be like your cheat meal whenever it's time for you to like, you're working out, you're staying in shape, you're doing all this and that. You give yourself a cheat meal and you're in Chicago. It cannot be tacos.
Man, the tacos are different. But once I try the pizza, I'm trying to look for a good opportunity to have pizza because I don't want to have a huge deep dish pizza for myself like before practice
Sure.
or anything. So I have to have like on a day off or something. So
And their thin pizza's really good too. Believe
Yeah,
it or not. Very
pizza,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then that means you can't hang out with Brandon because you're going to be in training the first day of training. Brandon's going to be like, come on, guy, let's go here and have 97,000 calories.
97,000 calories.
No, I'll
Those
take
are-
them for a healthy grease.
Yeah. And
Right.
those are huge. They're filled with tomato sauce, and they got that's the cheese, right?
Well, yeah, it's the cheese, but the sauce is on top. They're crazy. They're so good.
backwards.
Yeah, the Lumanades is my favorite. It's
Lumanades
very good.
and
Better than-
Giordano's.
Giordano's is good, but it's not as good as it used to be.
Okay,
Lumanades is the bomb.
Lumanades.
Lumanades is great.
That's
It's
crazy.
phenomenal.
Yeah, that's crazy because we're in the running back room and Coach EB, we were going through the plays and stuff, and so we had to play Luminati's and Giordano's. And I'm from El Paso at the time, so I didn't even know. He's like, "What do you guys think that place sounds like?" And we said pizza, and I was like, "Okay, I guess it's a pizza place."
I like
so
that.
That's how
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
found out what it
No,
was.
Lou's is classic in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's the absolute best.
That's awesome though.
So you're living it up now. You're spending time in Chicago. You're doing all this and that. You're back here in El Paso. What are your goals for someone that like you're in a unique position where you can inspire a ton of people? You're already inspiring a ton of people to kind of follow in your footsteps. What are your goals that you want to do with this?
Oh man, my goals. I just been having the heart for the kids. Like the kids have been the only thing on my mind. Like, ultimately, I have my mom right here. We want to start up like a foundation. Like down the line when everything kind of comes together. God willing, we can try to reach the kids and stuff. Do that. I also want to get my clothing brand started. Kind of just do something that represents me and represents hard work and something that people can wear to be inspired. Because I was just touched actually because we just went out to eat a few hours ago,
Mhm.
and so one of the waitresses, she came and she said that her son, he played at Burgess, but she was just describing his story because he had a disability. He's deaf, and so some coaches didn't want to take a chance on him and stuff. So he left feeling like kind of depressed and all this stuff, and he just kept working and stuff. And ultimately, they gave him a chance at Burgess, and they have like the disability program stuff for the deaf and stuff. And I was just touched by that because I'm just like, man, like this guy's working so hard, and like he's a person that can beat all odds. And it kind of just reminded me of my story, like me, like I didn't have a disability, but it was like hard enough for me to kind of just go through these things and be in my room and wonder, like, oh, am I even good enough to play at the next level? Like, I hurt my shoulder. Like, am I good enough to continue to, like, can I pick up back where I left off? So kind of just do that and touch the kids, I'd say.
Now, Soldier Field is an interesting place because it's right on Lake Michigan. And I was telling your mom how cold it gets in Chicago, which you obviously haven't experienced yet, but you will. It's freezing over there. But have you guys had a chance to do anything at Soldier Field yet? And have you seen the stadium? And what are your impressions?
We haven't seen it yet.
Okay, but it's nice. It's a nice stadium. But I mean, the Bears are. I'm sure you've heard they're working on building a new stadium in Arlington, and because for years they've been talking about building a dome in Chicago.
Right.
But then everybody's like, well, what about bear weather? Well, when you freeze your ass off and it's 20 below, you'll say, the hell with bear weather.
Yeah. No, please. No.
I want to get your take on this, right? Because I feel like the weather is what helps, like a home field advantage and stuff like that. Brandon wants everything in a dome.
Oh, that's
we heard the story that he spent the third quarter in the bathroom because the bathroom had a heater with it.
It was heated. Yes.
The game goes overtime. I don't care if there's a heater in there. I'm not spending a whole quarter in a bathroom. It's just not happening that way.
Freezing.
Does Deion like the weather, or do you kind of want the dome as well, just be a little, taken care of?
I feel like
because I mean, you played in Texas, man. Like you can deal with heat. This is going to be the cold that's going to get you.
Yeah, I feel like if I get used to the cold, like I wouldn't mind because I like my thing is I like putting myself in uncomfortable positions in life, so I can grow from it. So if I'm uncomfortable with the cold, like put me in the cold so I can get used to it. And,
You'll never get used to the cold.
But
You're never gonna, trust me.
No,
you
do.
No, you don't. You haven't been in Chicago.
I lived in Alaska.
Chicago cold is worse.
What's Alaska's lows? Obviously.
Okay. So I showed up to Alaska in the middle of November. It was -17 with the wind chill at -50. It only got colder than that.
Maybe you've been in some cold weather.
It's Alaska.
But there's Chicago cold.
It's frozen. It's Alaska. You associate one thing with Alaska: cold.
Yeah.
And the Northern Lights.
Yeah, I guess
Northern Lights.
Cold. Yeah, you know what I mean.
but I think what you need to do though is like just research the stuff you got to do to make sure you're like because I said icy hot. It's going to help you out. Trust me, it's going to help you out. Our friend Minor Pat saying, handle your business, young man. She can't wait to see you play on Sundays. Now that we're going to be able to get to see you play on some of the Sundays over there as well. But man, like football weather, it's a thing, Brandon. We got to play outdours.
I know.
I don't know. It comes down to it. I would like the dome. Now that I'm hearing both sides. Yeah, I'm the dome. I was trying to be kind of deep, but never mind.
I live in El Paso, right? You can't shovel sunshine.
Yeah, you can't shovel sunshine.
During the winter there ain't a lot of sunshine.
Yeah, but you can sweep dirt in the middle of summertime. It's hard.
Yeah, but I'll take that over freaking 10 below. But I mean, again, it's all part of being in the Midwest. I mean, that's Chicago in December, January. I mean, it's interesting, man. It really is. But I mean, again, that's football. Like you said, that's football. I mean, imagine, Green Bay is freezing. A lot of the play, of course, Detroit, there's a dome. Minnesota, there's a dome. The NFC North is full of domes now.
Yeah.
What do we have to do, Brandon, to get you to go to Chicago in like the wintertime to like obviously go support Deion, but to be one of those fans that's out there without a shirt?
Well, jeez.
You could just like have the paint on you that says Hank the Tank.
Maybe I could do. Can I do the Hank the Tank paint?
Yeah, we can get that done.
That'd be kind of cool. I'd like that. I mean, I just don't know if I can handle the cold though.
Oh yeah.
Can I like put some Crisco on me or something?
Yeah, you can probably do it for like a second or two. Like probably try to get on Jumbotron for that 1 second.
Then put my Hankins jersey back on.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it like for you, Deion, to like be in those practices? Because we've seen the pictures and stuff like that, where you're getting handoff from like Caleb Williams and stuff like that. Like we're talking about a Heisman Trophy winning guy, a dude that was the top overall pick for the Chicago Bears. What's that like for you? Like, because again, you're the kid from El Paso, man. This don't happen a whole bunch. This is happening to you now.
Yeah. Oh my. Like, it's just awesome because, like you said, I go in the huddle. I look to my left. I see Caleb Williams, and I see Ben Johnson coach him up. And I'm just experiencing all these things at once. Like I see DJ Moore's on my right side, Roma Duze, like all these people. And I'm just to be a part of it is just like surreal. It's just crazy. But then also being in the locker room is just awesome to be a part of because you realize that these are just like regular people that each have their own story. You just got to kind of just live your story. And my stories, I'm a kid from El Paso just trying to make it. And so just being around them is awesome because at the league, they do realize that if you have talent, like you wouldn't be in there for no reason, So they kind of they respect you for that. Like they're not gonna put you down or anything. Oh, yeah, like we're all in this together and we're all a team, and so that's kind of the vibes I'm getting.
One of the biggest assets, I should say, of your game has been always protecting the football.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about your emphasis on protecting the ball, and obviously how much even more important that is at the next level.
Yeah, so that's a big emphasis, and especially like in college, Coach Neely, he's always like, man, you have the hopes and dreams of the program in your hands. So I'm like, man, that's a pressure that you have on you every single play, and so that's something that I try to just like stress for myself, and keep the ball high and tight. Try to like lock in the trouble and stuff. And
because they're going to try and punch it out all the time.
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean?
Punch it out,
all the time.
Keep my hand high and tight. Make sure there's no air in the bottom. But yeah, that's a big thing, especially like I said in the league and stuff. Like they emphasize like flying to the ball. Like in case of a fumble, like they emphasize flying to the ball. So like I'm just like, man, on the other side of that, if I fumble, I know everyone's gonna like
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I gotta protect the ball.
I think one of the things that we can do to help you out is like we can give you a football and you can just run through Brandon.
Right, me again.
Me again.
I know I can't tackle him. I'm saying you can. I got faith in you. You're wearing the Brian Urlacher jersey. You've got all that stuff going your way. Now you got to bring the lumber.
He's ready.
Yeah.
Look at the size of those muscles. You know what I mean? He's only gotten bigger since high school and college.
Since high school.
God almighty. So let's talk about. Have they talked to you at all about becoming also a more versatile back as opposed to like being, where you're just running the ball as opposed to being a receiving back as well? Because we know today the versatile back is becoming more of a receiver as well.
Honestly, like during our practice, we'll have some like outside zone runs and whatever we got in our system, but a majority of our practice is focused on running routes out the backfield and knowing when to get out and stuff. And also, I was presenting with the opportunity because we don't have a fullback on the roster, so I was presented with the opportunity to learn the fullback plays and kind of try to, whenever there's a two-back packages. So Coach EB provided me with that opportunity. So I've been also learning those plays along with the running back plays, and I'm picking it up well. I just got to – obviously it's something I've never done before, fullback, but I'm willing to, try to be a valuable person because – His quote that he always says to us every day is seek not to become a person of success, but a person of value.
Sure.
So he's like, if it's special teams, if it's running back, he's like, I still want you to play running back. I want you to be kind of versatile and stuff. And that's what I like about him. He believes in me and he believes in he just wants the best out of me. So yeah.
Absolutely.
What's the most difficult aspect that you've been getting so far about playing fullback? Because like you said, this is something that you've never done before.
Yeah.
What's the similarities where you're like, okay, I can do this? And then what's the things where you're like, okay, I really need to practice on this?
Yeah, I would say just being more physical, like just being more physical with my hands, just really striking people, getting my leverage down and stuff, knowing my entry points when I'm going to block like either the safety or the backer. Like I know where to get to, but it's just like repetition that's gonna help me with those things. But as I mentioned before, there's a bunch of similarities between UTEP and the Bears. Like I said, for one, they hang the tank in the weight room. They're the same colors.
Sure.
And also we had a pro style offense at UTEP. So I was running a lot of the same plays we're running now, like inside zone, outside zone, power. We had a fullback in there. So we had James Tupou and Trent Thompson. So I was looking up to those guys and I see the technique. So that's something I'm just gonna have to take with me and remember.
How challenging has it been to learn the NFL playbook and the Bears playbook so far?
Oh snap, man, that's the big thing. I feel like that's the difference between all these other levels. Is just the mental aspect is just like on another level. Like you're getting all this information thrown at you. You're just expected to know it when you're doing a walkthrough or when you're going through practice. So our 3-day rookie mini camp, we didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know what to expect. So we arrived at the hotel, put our stuff down. The whole day there, we were getting checked in and stuff, and then we immediately went to our meetings and stuff, our position meetings, and they threw the whole install at us. So it was like a bunch of stuff. So after the whole day, it was probably around like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I looked at my notes. I'm like, dang, I already had like 4 or 5 pages filled up with the first day. So I went and I studied for like 2-3 hours, and then I put my stuff down. And it's like the same thing kind of happened throughout the weekend. So we installed the whole playbook in 3 days. Man, that was tough, but I just felt like I need to put my best foot forward and make sure I'm investing in myself, studying these plays, and getting them right during the practice.
Do you feel like there's a certain amount of pressure on you because of that story that you have of like, okay, I go undrafted, I'm invited to the rookie mini camps and all that, but before I even show up, I'm given a roster spot because they see my tape and all this stuff. Do you feel like there's any added pressure there, or do you feel like, look, I gotta prove these guys right for the reason why they trusted in it?
Honestly, like there's no pressure on me, because I mean I just felt like I need to be grateful for each and every opportunity, and I'm gonna work hard. I've always been a hard worker and stuff. I'm gonna be coachable, be a hard worker and stuff, and I feel like I could only kind of just exceed what they exceed their expectations, because I feel like my film, although it was some great plays in there, that's not really who I am. Like if you see me in high school versus in college, like I'm a totally different person. Like at UTEP, they stacked the box against me and stuff, and so I was forced to be a tank, which I didn't. I was forced to be a power back and stuff. But now it's like they give me the opportunity to show different parts of my game, which is something that I can only just get better at and stuff. Yeah.
Speaking of your tenure at UTEP, 2,604 combined yards, 23 TDs on 548 carries. That's quite an impressive resume there. What was, some of your most memorable moments of playing for your hometown team and playing for the late, great Coach Dimmel, who we truly did love,
Yeah, Coach Dimmel. Coach Dimmel was a great man.
Yeah,
always had a smile on his face. So as far as greatest memories, let me think. There's a bunch of them.
Sure.
Boise State was a good one. We beat Boise State because that was a turnaround for me, because I was coming out like the first 4 games, I wasn't doing too well. I was wearing a brace and stuff, and that game I decided to take my brace off, and I had a pretty good game. ULM COVID year was a great game. Had 3 touchdowns just running, and also my first game against SFA when I had 2 touchdowns and 117 yards. Like those things were kind of just turnarounds in my career, and so as far as UTEP, but yeah.
So Brandon, I think we had a bet with Coach Dimmel a while back ago that like if they had made a bowl game, like all 3 of us, you, me, Coach Dimmel, we're going to be wearing our UTEP Miners Speedos.
Yeah.
Now I think I know what you're going to be wearing whenever you go to Chicago. It's got to be a Chicago Bears Speedo.
No way.
Wait, I thought you were going to say this jersey with a Speedo.
the jersey with the Speedo on it.
That's a terrible sight and a picture right there.
I don't think so. I think you might be able to start like a different business venture. I think you might be able to go that way.
Good,
I go see Deion. He's like, I do not know this guy at all. He's all walking away. It's like,
come on, man. What you doing?
Deion, it's me. Deion, it's Brandon. He's like, get the hell out of here.
Now that really be talking about me in the locker room and stuff.
Who's that Nuts fan that is trying to wave you down?
Don't think of a different nickname pertaining to that situation. I don't know what they call me if they saw that.
Okay, we don't want that to happen, but I still want Brandon to be there. Look, if you show up to Chicago, just don't bother him.
I won't. I'll leave him alone.
There you go, especially while you're in your Speedo. Okay?
Yeah.
You bother him whenever you're fully dressed.
When I'm fully dressed, yes. With the Speedo, I'll leave him alone.
Yes.
Unless you're at the lake or something.
Then that'd be fun,
I couldn't imagine being in Lake Michigan in a Speedo. That sounds like a nightmare, man. That is not a good place to be. Okay, so you're here in El Paso. What are you doing here in El Paso while you're getting ready to getting ready for the season? Because like you said, it starts in just about a week and a half or 2?
No, it starts July 19th, so like 2-3 weeks.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks. Right now, I kind of just been busy with the family. Still working out. Kind of just doing interviews and stuff. Trying to be involved with the community while I'm here. But at the same time, trying to rest my mind and have fun. And this stuff is fun to me. Just kind of just being around people that's been there throughout the whole journey and have had my support and stuff. So that's pretty much all I've been doing. So I'll kind of continue to do that.
Yeah, it's nice to come home for a while. I mean, I know you were in Chicago for the rookie mini camp, and so you're going to be here for, I guess, a few more weeks, and then head back to Chi-Town.
Yes, sir. Chi-Town.
Right.
Yes,
All
sir.
Right. How excited and eager are you to head back for training camp in July? Because the season officially gets underway on July 31st this year with the Hall of Fame game. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm excited because, it's something that I've never experienced before. But the motto up there is kind of just like DeAndre Swift always tells me. He's like, man, you're doing good. Just keep stacking days. Like, that's the motto here. Just keep going, keep going. Because if you look too far ahead, then you'll get blurred out. You're already presented with so much information at that moment. So I just got to keep stacking days. But yeah, I'm excited. My thought process, which actually helped me this past year, is think about all the things that can go right. Like I have faith, and a lot of times when we think about future things, we get anxious and stuff, and we're like thinking about what can go wrong, thinking about what can go wrong. But I flip that, and I'm like, dang, you got to think about what can go right. And so that's my thought process going into camp, just like that everything's gonna go good.
Yeah, and most importantly, to be in, like I said, such a historic sports city. I mean, the greatest basketball player of all time, Jordan, was there. I mean, that's it's really something. It's awe-inspiring considering all the amazing athletes that have been. Ernie Banks. I mean, obviously Frank Thomas. Nellie Fox. I could go on and on. Dick Butkus, Brian Urlacher. I mean, that's an amazing city. It really is for sports wise.
Yeah, and it's awesome because when you're going into the facility, you walk in, and they have on both sides of the wall, it's a blacked out wall. They have the numbers and the names of all the the top players that's gone through Chicago and stuff. They have Walter Payton on there, Gail Sayers on there and stuff. And so they have them, and it's lit up, and it's all going down. And at the end, there's like a Bears logo. And I'm like, man, to walk through that every single day and see those things, like, man, it's just inspiring. Like, you get inspiring as soon as you walk into the building, which is awesome.
Also, don't let Brandon fool you. He's a Bears fan, a Cowboys fan. Like, he's a fan of at least 47 different teams.
It's not true. It's because
he has to be. It's part of the job.
Yeah,
man.
it's part of my job. See, there you go. See, I like the way.
If it's part of the job, you can't be a fan of any team.
Well, no, technically,
unbiased.
but yes, that's true. But when I was a kid, I started watching Bears games in Chicago, and then when I moved here, I started liking football, and it was the Cowboys and all that. But my Bears are my number one team.
Yes, sir. The Bears, man. The Bears.
Why are you going to leave him hanging like that? Like, you're trying to dap you up.
I did see that.
This guy.
You're good.
Jeez.
Nobody leaves.
You got the same logo. It's cool.
Hank, it's Hank. I'm sorry. My bad.
You're good.
Okay, so obviously we're rooting for you. We can't wait to see what it is that you do with Chicago, especially coming out of the training camps and all that stuff like that. What's a message that you want to give out to like any of the little kids that are out there that might come across something like this, that are going to be looking up to you as like the next person from El Paso to be in the NFL?
Man, I would say the message is obviously one. They always hear, "Oh, you got to work hard," which is good. But also, just being up there, the thing that they put above hard work is obviously effort, but most of all value. I mean, value and character. So character is going to make you a valuable person, and I would say up there it's like 60% character and who you are, and 40% if you can play. Because you see in this last draft, it's like people drop down because of their character issues and stuff. So character is very important. And obviously, just to keep God first, keep pushing. You never know what you're gonna make out of yourself, make out of your life, and just live your own story. Like, don't let nobody determine what you can and can't do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Just keep going and work hard, and what's done behind the scenes is gonna be brought to light, and your hard work is gonna be noticed. Whenever the game time does come. So
yeah.
That's an awesome message to get on out there. Be someone that's of value in more than just one way.
Right.
And before we let you go, Deion, I just have to say that I couldn't agree more in the respect that you got to do what makes you happy. You're living a dream. You're with the Bears. Talk about, ultimately how grateful you are, because we talked about, the difficult road and all that, and where you've come from and now where you are. Just talk about how wonderful it feels truly to be humble, ultimately, and how everybody else should try to be humble no matter how famous they are, how talented they are. In the end, you're just a friggin' person, and being humble is kind of cool, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, being humble is a great part. I mean, my mom always stressed for us to be humble, and it's just your community, just being around people and just being able to identify with them. Like you said, I've had a rough kind of upbringing and stuff like that. So I can identify with all these kids, and that's because I was humble enough to put myself in their shoes and to kind of just work harder and know where I came from. And I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity, because as far as last year, being at Texas State, I had a fun year off the field and stuff. but I learned and I grew as a man during that whole time. Ultimately, yeah, I know I had to fit into that power back kind of rule, which is, but it allowed me to recover and it allowed me to put some special teams tape up. I didn't have no special teams tape at UTEP, so I had a bunch of special teams tape at Texas State, which is something that they also stress in the league. You want to play a bunch of special teams, which adds to your value. So I'm just fortunate enough to be in this position, and I'm very grateful, and I just try to enjoy it every day.
Well, I tell you what, we're very proud of you.
I mean,
I've seen, followed your career for a long time, and I'm not going to leave you hanging this time, but congratulations. And I'm going to be following you closely. I'll be up in Chi-Town next month.
Yes,
Hope
sir.
we get together for a healthy grease. And hey, keep up the good work.
Grease.
You're my boy, man.
Yes, sir. You're my boy
Yeah,
too.
thank you, brother.
appreciate
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Look
love
at that,
you,
all
man.
the love.
Yeah.
My buddy, I love this here. I'll give him another one.
Yeah.
She's getting a picture of it. So I got
We gotta get the hug back in there one more time.
We gotta make it look like off guard.
Yeah.
Okay, delete that. No, just kidding. Delete that. The guy in the Speedo is hugging Deion.
That's going to be evidence that he knows you now. Damn,
Yeah.
we ruined it. We ruined all of it. We had it work. We had a plan, and we just ruined it all. All right, Deion, I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Fire and Ice. Everybody, we're going to take a quick break. Whenever we come back, we're going to talk about the NBA draft, all the things that are going on with that with Brandon, the Iceman Kona, myself, Mike Tipton. We will see you all just in a little bit. And we are back here on Fire and Ice. Mike Tipton, Brandon the Iceman Cone, hanging out with you over here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Brandon, tell everybody about the new specials they have going on over here.
God, we've been indulging. I tried to grab a chip, but Destiny slapped my hand. It says Buffalo Wild Wings specials, bottomless appetizers. They've already asked us to leave. $9.99, a party of 4. You get chips and queso, fried pickles, onion rings. I don't know. Is there anything else on that list? Because Destiny, whatever.
I mean, you got the mozzarella sticks, you got the queso, you got the onion rings, you got fried pickles, you got a whole bunch of different
mozzarella
things.
Sticks? That's
the
you had me at
sticks.
mozzarella
Yes.
sticks. Then we have $4. What we got here? Look at this shtick here. Mozz sticks, onion rings, fried pickles, hatch queso, chips, and salsa. We gotta order some of this stuff.
Oh no! I mean, they
great.
keep giving us ways to put them out of business.
Especially with all you can eat, and 2 fat guys and all you can eat, that doesn't go well together. I mean, but then we have also a new sauce that's staying forever: honey garlic, $4 Jameson shot, $4 Jameson green tea shooter, $5 Coors Light, Wild Herd $4, $6 Blue Moon and Happy Hour. So, oh my goodness, good stuff. Good stuff.
A bunch of stuff that they've got over here at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive on the west side of El Paso. And, of course, these are the same specials at all the locations. It doesn't matter which one you go to. If you want to go to Fort Bliss, if you want to go to the one over off Yarborough. But this is our home, 655 Sunland Park Drive. Brandon, how awesome was Deion Hankins?
He's amazing. He's, I've known Deion. I've been covering him since high school. We used to have him on Crunch Time and Sports Talk. And he is just one of the nicest young men. Him and his mom, Liz. Thank you, Liz, for all your help. I mean, they're so humble, down to earth. He's one of the most talented running backs in the country. He really is unbelievable since high school. And yet, he's getting this amazing opportunity with the Bears. And same old Deion. I mean, I haven't seen him in a few years. It's been a minute. But same old Deion, in life, you should be a mensch, which is an upstanding person in Yiddish. And he's truly a mensch, and his mom's wonderful. His whole family, his brother, his sister. It's just so nice to see him again and to see him in this particular situation with this blessed opportunity. So happy for him. Congratulations, Deion.
It couldn't have happened to a better guy. We can agree on that. And the cool thing about having Deion here, we're watching Deion live his dream, is that this week we got to see, at least I did, because you know how much of a nerd I am. I was watching the NBA draft, and then yesterday I was watching part of the NHL draft, a bunch of drafts that are going on right now. And in the NBA draft, you have a bunch of guys that are out there living their dreams, doing their stuff. Have you heard about the story about what's been happening with Ace Bailey?
No, I have not. Please inform me.
So Ace Bailey is a guard out of Rutgers, was doing, all kinds of stuff. Didn't work out with any teams, was trying to force his way to the Washington Wizards of all teams, which is kind of a weird place to want to go. It was either Washington or Charlotte, and he winds up not going to either one of those teams. And whenever he gets drafted by the Utah Jazz with the number 5th overall pick, just has this look on his face like he's not happy to be there. Doesn't show up to the introductory press conference, is causing all kinds of problems. My guy, you're not even in the league yet. You shouldn't be acting this way.
I mean, dude, again, there's certain humbleness. Now, if you're the bomb, and if you can pull like, an Eli Manning and not want to go to your team, if you're that good where you could be arrogant, let's just call a spade, then okay, then do you, right? But if you haven't ever had a chance to play in the next level, don't be an idiot. Come on now. There's just certain point of showing that you're grateful, the loyalty, the respect, and saying, again, I'm getting the opportunity that less than 1% receives to play professional sports. I've been drafted. I have accomplished what so many would like to accomplish but will never accomplish, and I'm going to be a stubborn moron.
You don't have to have a repeat of the lesson Johnny Football taught the whole league.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. Like what we saw with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you have a guy everyone said is going to be the 3rd quarterback taken in the 1st round of the NFL draft that falls all the way to the 5th round. We're talking about this, less than 2 months ago?
Right.
That this happened?
Absolutely.
Ace Bailey is doing this stuff. And trust me, when it comes to the NBA, I've always said this, the NBA draft, the NBA itself is the hardest league to get into. It's a 15-man roster, and you only have 2 rounds of draft. And not only are you dealing with the 300-plus D1 schools that play basketball here, but you have to deal with all the D2 schools, the D3 schools. And you're dealing with professional leagues throughout the entire world. All these players, the top 1% of the top 1% of the top 1%, trying to make it to the NBA draft. My guy, you got drafted 5th overall. Be happy. that you were even drafted because you didn't work out for any teams. You told all the teams in front of the Wizards not to draft you. Danny Ainge was that much of a jerk to be like, I'll call your bluff. And we'll see how this goes. Like you're going to come over here, you're going to play in Utah, and you're going to be happy because we're the only team that's going to be giving you a check. Because if he misses a season, what's he going to do? He's not going to be able to make NBA money anywhere else.
Right. You go play overseas, you never know what's going to happen, and you lose some of your luster, and then boom, there goes your career potentially. And, when the iron is hot, you have to strike right now. And, I don't care if you play for a team that's mediocre or a team you don't want to be with. Don't be that much of a putz. Again, that's a terrible way of thinking. I'm sorry. I couldn't disagree with him more.
It's been a week. In the last week, the Oklahoma City Thunder won their championship. They had the parade like 2 days after they won the championship.
Sure.
It was the quickest turnaround I've ever seen for a championship parade. What were your thoughts? I know that you were rooting for the Pacers. You and Darren Hunt, who joined us last week, were rooting for the Pacers. Both of y'all took an L. And it sucks that it happened that way. Tyrese Halliburton getting injured in the first
That's
quarter.
what I was going to say. I mean, because the Pacers were up by 2 at halftime without Halliburton. And if Halliburton plays, then to me, that's a different game. I mean, I can't say they would have won the game, but it would have been a much more competitive fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And they would have had a much better opportunity to win. Congratulations to OKC. They're a great, young, up-and-coming team. It's the first professional sports championship for the state of Oklahoma. I'm really happy for the state. I'm happy for the fans. I mean, there were some really touching stories, like one of the young lady, who lost her dad in the Oklahoma City bombing. They put a jersey around or a shirt around his memorial at the OKC bombing memorial there. You just a note saying how proud you would have been of this team, Dad, and this and that. I'm very happy for them. I mean, I am. I think it's a good story for the NBA because it's truly one of the small market teams that you just don't expect to see a small market team win a championship. It proves one thing. No matter how big the big boys are, no matter how much money the big boys have to spend, you cannot mess with chemistry. And you cannot mess with a good GM and a good coach. And if you have all that together, anything is possible. So congratulations to them.
And the most terrifying thing about this team with Oklahoma City,
So young.
not just so that they're so young,
They're so good.
they have 13 draft picks in the next 4 drafts.
They're going to be good for a long time.
They have enough ability to just keep this thing going for a bit, and that's the difference between what Oklahoma City has and what Boston had or what Milwaukee had whenever they won their championships. Right? Boston had a bunch of expensive players, and we saw they had to have a mass exodus of guys. They still have to get rid of either Derek White or Sam Hauser in order to make it under the repeater tax, because if they're at that repeater tax level, the second apron in the NBA when it comes to salary cap, they automatically get the last pick in the draft. So you're the last pick in the first round, you're the last pick in the second round, and that's one of the penalties of being above the repeater tax 3 out of 5 years. They've already had it for a couple of years. They have to get under it this year. That's why they're getting rid of Kristaps Porzingis. That's why they're getting rid of Drew Holiday. And now they're going to have to get rid of Derek White or Sam Hauser in order to create something there. We're watching the Boston Celtics now have to sell assets off.
Sure.
The Oklahoma City Thunder aren't going to have to worry about that because they've got 13 draft picks in the next 4 drafts.
In baseball, that's like having an infinite bullpen.
They've got everything. And the thing is their second best player, Jalen Williams, is the 12th highest paid player on that team.
They don't have a superstar. They didn't win it with a Kevin Durant like when he played there. I mean, the point is that it's interesting to see the success, because one thing's certain today is there are no certainties, especially in the NBA or in any other sport, because it's so hard to win back-to-back titles and consistently stay good.
But if there's a team that can do it, it's going to be Oklahoma City.
It would be OKC, yes.
It's been, 8 years of a different champion. I know that you can say 7 different franchises have won over these 8 championships because the Warriors won in 2018 and 2021. It just feels like this is what the NBA has always strived for, which is getting all that parity, right? They talk about parity. They've gotten all that parity. 8 different champions over the last 8 years. But it feels like Oklahoma City could be the team to put that to bed. Indiana did show that they have a little bit of a weakness, but that's also because Indiana's built the exact same way that the Oklahoma City Thunder are built.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I'm extremely happy for them because, again, this is just a matter of ever-changing league in general. And, I mean, it's really, really difficult to maintain that competitive spirit. And certainly, you have to be happy because, for me, it was truly a feel-good story. in the NBA, because you think about it, some of the greatest players nowadays are just getting older in the NBA. It's about the newer generation, and therefore there really is no legitimate favorite to be that dominant team other than potentially OKC, and even for them, who the heck knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, because you got to look at it this way. The West is going to be getting a lot better. Like, I like what the San Antonio Spurs did with their draft, and I'm not going to bore everyone with draft talk. I did that on Friday's show. But I will say this, like, San Antonio had themselves a great draft. Like they genuinely did. And a lot of the teams out there, like what Phoenix did, getting that trade of trading away Kevin Durant, bringing in Dylan Brooks, bringing in Jalen Green, getting the number 10 overall pick, which winds up being Kaman Maylock from Duke, 7'2" defensive anchor. They get that guy on that team now. With Devin Booker being your number one scorer, the future is so bright for them. The Dallas Mavericks bringing in Cooper Flagg. Kyrie Irving's going to come back healthy. Anthony Davis is going to come back healthy. You have Klay Thompson on that team.
It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be a fun team to watch. Like, the West is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun.
The conference I don't think is going to be a lot of fun is going to be the Eastern Conference, because we have Damian Lillard out with an Achilles. Tyrese Halliburton now also with an Achilles. Jason Tatum out with an Achilles injury as well. So those are the top three teams. They're all going to have, major superstar guys that aren't going to be there. And it means a team like the Orlando Magic is going to be able to step up. And Detroit's a really good team. The Knicks are a really good team. They could step up, take that number one spot. But it ultimately feels like everything's going to have to run through the Western Conference.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the West. And I mean, you have to be happy with what you've seen, especially if you're a team, you plays in the West, but it's extremely competitive. But then again, you see Boston winning it a couple of years ago out of the East. So you never know what team could be really good out of the East. Cleveland, of course, we talked about.
I got no faith in Cleveland anymore, man. Watching the way that they got ran through by Indiana, and again, it's not a slight on Indiana.
Yeah.
They got hot at the right time. They were the second best team in the NBA going back to January, right? The first best team being Oklahoma City. Where they needed to meet was a championship series. Cleveland, to me, though, had the second best record in the NBA. They're a 60-win team, and they looked nothing like a 60-win team whenever it came down to them playing against Indiana in the play.
No, they really didn't. They really were extremely mediocre and very disappointing. So, but yes, I mean, again, you look at it on paper, the West should be the dominant conference going forward for at least the foreseeable future. Look at that.
Oh, we were getting some food sent over here already. We've already ordered some of the bottomless apps. Brendan, one more time before we leave, tell everybody about the specials that are happening now at Buffalo Wild Wings. We got new specials for the next couple of months over here at Buffalo Wild Wings.
So the biggest one is the $9.99 bottomless appetizers, party of 4. You get your mozzarella sticks, onion rings, fried pickles, hatch queso, chips, and salsa. Unbelievable, a really good deal. You get a lot of food. Also, $4 Wild Herd, $5 Coors Light, $6 Blue Moon, and much more here at B-Dubs.
655 Sunland Park Drive is the place that you want to go. Remember, all the Buffalo Wild Wings locations are going to have this same exact special. And Brandon, the best part about it is it's all week long.
It's great.
It's all week long. We finally pressured them to make sure that they had a special that we can take advantage of.
Yes.
And we are going to take advantage of that special right now. Everyone, I want to thank you so much for tuning into today's show. Our guy, Deion Hankins, thank you for taking time out of your day, joining us over here on Fire and Ice as well. And everybody, we will see you next week. He won't see you next week. Yeah. I will see you next week.
I'll
He's
be in
going to be out of town.
Chicago, and then eventually Chicago and London and Norway actually next month. So I'm taking my mom for her 75th birthday.
Look at that.
Up in the Norwegian fjords. Sounds
Look at that. You're a good son.
I am sometimes. Once in a blue moon.
He's like, I am. I am. Like, he just owns it. He's like, I am.
I brought myself
I'm a really good person.
Sorry, I really am. I learned from you.
You learned from the greatest. All right, everybody. We will see you next week.
Go Bears.